The language got a bit fruity last night. There were some fans not at all happy with what they'd witnessed at the Vitality. Their very poor performance, but a very good performance by Bournemouth. Not their best, though, didn't have to be. And it could have easily been 6 if they had their shooting boots on. So, let's have a chat now with Tottenham fan podcast and the Fighting Cock podcast, Flav Bateman. Hi, Flav.
Hello, how you doing, boys?
Not too
good,
bad,
thanks.
thank you. Yes,
better than me.
Yes, it was. I mean, I know you. I wasn't there. I'm not sure whether you were there or not. I know you had mates there. I mean, did they tell you it felt a bit more toxic than usual at the end?
Yeah, look, I wasn't there, and I know one person that was there, and I spoke to him about it, and he said, yeah, it was very tense, and for good reason. It was a horrendous performance. Bournemouth, like you said, could have bagged a handful really, and that's a natural and understandable reaction to what was an awful result on the back of a couple of poor performances before this game. And it just shows you that there's a growing sentiment of anger and frustration in the Tottenham fan base. And part of that may be down to what Postecoglou's doing. And I know there's a growing sentiment that perhaps he isn't the correct manager for Tottenham. But I think there's sort of wider frustrations that have been festering for years in our inability to compete with other clubs that we consider to be our equals. That the other members of the Big Six, in inverted commas, spend and operate in a way that Tottenham don't. And when you have significant injuries like we have, like massive injury issues, when the squad, when the summer transfer window didn't include a number of players that are able to play consistently in the first team, and instead look to the future in Bogle and Archie Gray, who may well be amazing signings going forward, that is a part of the symptom or is it a symptom of why these performances are coming thick and fast now?
I think that's true. I mean, I think the depth of quality in the squad is key. It's
Depth of squad.
Yeah, it's the depth. I think it's the depth of the squad and the depth of the quality. As Flav just said, we've signed young players. The chairman's belief is, and the club's belief for a long time is, you buy young players you can sell for a profit, but you need players for the now. And Solanke was a bit of an outlier as far as that's concerned. They needed more than one player. So it's not just down to the manager. It's not just down to the players. You're right, Flav, it's the whole structure. One thing about Ange Postecoglou, when you talk a lot about what you are and the way you like to play, I mean, Russell Martin suffered from it a little bit as well. We know his philosophy, and we clearly see him being caught out in it. What we got at the moment is a manager who says, this is what I like to do, this is who we are, mate. And you kind of put yourself on offer. You put yourself on a bit of a pedestal. And it's also, like you say, the way we train, we always pick up a few muscle injuries in the first season. Look how many muscle injuries at Tottenham we got. Odegaard out for 3 or 4 months. Richarlison out for 3 or 4 month. I mean, Ben Davies has played a lot of football, and he's not the youngest anymore, so that could be just overplaying matches. Van der Ven, muscle injuries. So if they're kind of self-fulfilling prophecies, I don't think, if you look at Arne Slot didn't come in and say, well, what I am is this, that and the other. He's just got on with it. And I think sometimes you put more pressure on yourself when you say stuff like that.
Yeah, he's very bold, and he does invite criticism, and he invites people hold him to account based on the words he uses, and he's very forthright in his successes that he's had previously, but they are there to be seen, and what's got him from the minor leagues in Australia to managing a club in the Premier League is everything that he is and the way he behaves, and that lack of pragmatism, even when the squad looks like it's unable to play in the way that he wants it to play. He won't change because it is who he is, and it's his philosophy, and a lot of it's sort of entrenched in lots of things, but it's the success that he's had, but also his relationship with his father, where they would always talk about attacking football and keeping the ball on the ground. And it was like, and his relationship with football and his dad are kind of intrinsically linked. They can't be separated. So I think it's a part of him and his ideas, and he wouldn't change. I think he would rather lose his job as a Tottenham manager than bend or change, and that could well happen. I don't want it to, but we can't continue in this fashion, injuries or not.
Andy,
I just think he's much better for Tottenham than say somebody like what's his name, Conte, because the Spurs tradition is to play a certain way. I think it is upstairs because you've had two good managers. Poch, he didn't back him.
No,
obviously
didn't back him at key moments.
Key moments. And again with Ange, he had a very good first season. Yeah, they did buy Solanke, but they needed a bit more. And it is difficult. But they're so flaky. They could come back on Sunday and win the game.
Let's hear from Ange Postecoglou again. He was. We were just talking there, Flav, about buying young prospects, good players in. And Ange said he stands by those transfer decisions to bring in younger players.
It's still the right decision. I will always, and I own them because I believe they're the right decisions for this football club. I make these decisions with the kind of background that, I'm going to be here for a while to make sure we see it through. To be honest, if I was worried about my own existence, I would have fought tooth and nail to block Harry Kane leaving the football club, but it wasn't the right decision for the club because he was in the last year of his contract. So that's not what drives me. The decisions we made around signing the young players are the right decisions for this football club for where we're at right now, and they will bear fruit.
Right for the football club, not necessarily right for the team at the moment. They probably will bear fruit, whether he's there to see that. I mean, young players, Flav, are more malleable. If you're looking to mould a young player and get him to play in your system, you've got more chance.
It is kind of what Chelsea have done as well. They bought a lot. They've got the youngest squad in the division. And it takes time.
Look at the numbers. Look at the profile.
Yeah, but it's the same as Liverpool. They've got Nunes, Jota, Salah, and Gakpo. You've got Solanke.
Yeah,
you can't compare Arnie Slot.
Look at the amount of even someone like Madueke and the amount of ex-Tottenham, of course. The amount of players that you brought in, someone like that who played pretty top-level international football. Jonas Bergvall's not started a Premier League game. Archie Gray started his first last night. He's not been played in his usual position. So you're right, Flav. It's very hard to I mean, it's great for the future, and I'm sure it's great for the football club. It's not necessarily good for the here and now, is it?
Yeah, and fans don't operate in the future. They don't think about what might happen in 3 months or 6 months or 3 years from now. And it may take Bergvall 3 years to get up to speed and be consistent, be good enough in the Premier League. He may never be good enough, or you just don't know at such a young age. And £10 million is a bit of a gamble, but it's understandable, right? And but for £50 million combined fee for both those kids, when we could have had a player that was played consistently in our first team, would have helped with this injury crisis much more so than Archie Gray and Bergvall are able to, given their current levels, is somewhat frustrating. The club need a plan for 3 months, 6 months. They need to have these key moments in planned ahead, and 3 years from now for sure. But as fans, we've got to see something now. They can't keep looking towards the future because at the moment we can't absolutely guarantee that there's going to be success there because the history would prove that there wouldn't be.
Absolutely. Flav, good to talk to you. Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Flav Bateman there from the Fighting Cock podcast. I say Ben Davies going down last night means they've got one senior centre-back in Dragosin.
Les Romero's fit.
Well, Les Romero's fit. But I think he's got a central contract now with Argentina. So if Argentina say he can play, then I imagine he'll be able to play. But unless we get the go-ahead, then he may have to sit that one out.
It could be difficult on Sunday. It could be. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We will. We'll be predicting. I can't wait. Predicting the scores. We're even doing a bet builder on it. Talk about kick me when you're down.
Yeah, but it's a week ago or a couple of weeks ago, they beat City twice in a week.
If we were going out with our first team, we kept them all on the pitch, which we didn't do last year. I think we could give you a game.
Oh, definitely.
It's a lot harder with the sort of team they're likely to field at the weekend.
Yeah. The thing is, everybody scores against Chelsea. They very rarely keep a clean sheet. So you'd fancy Tottenham to get a goal or two, but then you'd also fancy Chelsea to get a goal or two against that defence.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.